All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and we got good news out on the rumor mill, which is that big advancement in the Errol Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford negotiations. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, Fanon's International Boxing, where we talk boxing every day. In this particular video, we are going to talk about the welterweight division and little birdies telling me that there are actually big birdies telling me that there are good advance has been made in the Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford negotiations, and that Mike Coppinger might actually have been telling the truth in this matter. Now, before I get into that though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a longtime subscriber, new subscriber, thank you so much for your support for the channel, watching the live streams, watching the videos, chopping it up with me every day. Greatly appreciated. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos, and join the boxing community. Like I said, we have really good boxing conversations that take place every day in video form and in live stream form. So there's always something to chop it up with. Even if we don't agree, we can chop it up, and it's a great place to talk boxing. So let's get into this biggest fight in boxing, the most important fight in boxing in years, in my opinion, the 147-pound championship, true championship, which they refer to as the undisputed championship, that would be taking place between Errol Spence Jr., who was the WBA champion, the WBC champion, the IBF champion, and Terence Bud Crawford, former undisputed champion at 140 and champion at WBO champion at 135, WBO champion at 147. Looks like that there has been some improvement and some progress made in that fight. Now, if you recall, Mike Coppinger reported that fight was nearly done, that they were going to do the fight in October in Las Vegas, and in October in Las Vegas. Errol Spence Jr. retweeted that information with, muscles flexed, which gave a little bit of a sign that, yeah, that fight, that's something that he concurred with. However, unfortunately, immediately thereafter, you had Floyd Mayweather Jr. via Fight Hype say, don't post that. That's not true. And then after that, you had Bernie Mac, man. Rest in peace, Bernie Mac. Bernie, the boxer, who is a confidant and a team member of Bud Crawford's, said that Bud said there was nothing going on with the fight, right? Nothing as far as the money, nothing with this, that, and the other. However, it was broke last night from very good sources, including one of the best channels in YouTube, always factually based, said that they are telling him, that's BFTB Boxing, go check out BFTB Boxing. Definitely great conversations over there, really knows his boxing, stays on point in boxing, guy I look up to in this boxing talk, said that Bud had agreed to 45% per split with Errol Spence Jr. And so that means that fight is that much closer to being made. I've had other people tell me that means that the deal is actually been concluded and signed, which means that they would be announcing it soon. But I have not directly heard that out in my own ears. I've not heard that. Just heard about the 45%. So if that's the case, it looks like we're getting real close to making a fight. Previously, Errol Spence Jr. Terence Crawford said that he would not accept anything short of 50-50. He said he wouldn't do 60-40. And my take on that matter had always been this, that, 60-40 is fair to Errol because of the amount of, because of what Errol brings to the table. And I'm not including the belts. I mean, the belts, I think, really do muddy the conversation a good amount. When you say, okay, well, a guy has 3 belts, you have 1, that means I deserve more because I have more belts. Then that's not the case. That is not going to be the case at heavyweight with Tyson Fury if you fought Alexander Usyk, where Usyk has 3 belts and Tyson Fury has 1. Tyson Fury is not going to fight him give Alexander Usyk the lion's share because of that. Also, you at Devin Haney at 135 pounds, has all of the belts. Tank Davis has none. Tank is not taking short money to fight Devin Haney. It's because it's really about who brings in the money as far as what the splits are, right? And who the quote unquote A side of any negotiation is the person that has the most leverage, right? But at the end of the day, either fighter can take their best alternative to them negotiating an agreement and just say that they're not going to do the fight and go do something else, right? So that's not to say that Terence Crawford didn't have leverage. He does. It's just that Errol Spence is heavier on Errol Spence Jr.'s side because of the amount of pay-per-view that he sells, because of the amount of ticket sales that he has relative to what Terence Crawford has done in the past, right? However, if they go to 55-45, what I had said about that is that's generous, right? That is a situation where at 55-45, that is Errol doing what he said he would do, which is bending and not breaking, because he does deserve the lion's share of the fair, and it would be unfair to him to go 50-50. That's my take on it. 50, unless he just wanted to do and he's like, I don't care, 50-50. But if you're looking at it from like really who deserves what and who has accomplished what as far as bringing money to the table, 55-45 is generous from Errol Spence Jr. and an acknowledgement and a tip of the hat to Terence Crawford, that Terence Crawford brings extra value to the fight, which people consistently have said, like, hey, man, this is a big fight because Terence and Errol are in there. They're both part of that. So if they got to 55-45, if they got to 54-45, then good, man. That sounds good to me. I always thought that 50-50 would just definitely be somewhere that I was hoping that Terence Crawford was starting off with. But if he winds up, and it's true that he did relent on that, cool. Now, my understanding was from the same sources that a hold up to the fight was also the guaranteed money that was being offered to Terence Crawford, or being requested by Terence Crawford, and with a $20 million guarantee. I haven't heard anything on based on that, but if he gives up, if he took, relented on the 55-45, on the 50-50 to 55-45, he may have also relented on the guarantee, on the guaranteed money. Now, and also the relenting on the pay-per-view, on the back-end pay-per-view and them giving him more of the back-end pay-per-view could also be an acknowledgement from his part that, that because there isn't a rich tradition of a lot of revenue coming, that the actual fight and how much it generates, may be up in the air. So he may have said, okay, well, if this is what everybody's doing with the PBC, then hey, man, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So I'm encouraged by it again. I certainly hope it's the truth. I know that Oscar De La Hoya is out talking about how Al Heyman is blocking fights, blocking the Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia fight. But look, man, if it makes money, it makes sense. If it's a big fight for these guys and this fighter really, really wants it, hey, man, the man very well go out there and make that fight. But anyway, that's my take on the scenario. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.